Hello everybody. Lana Elco is here, and I'm so excited about today because today is Friday, October 20th, is the first day of my regular weekly Facebook Live show. And the name of the show is Irresistible You. Why resist your own magnificence? And I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wanted to do this, and I had so many ideas. I had so many ideas of how to call this, what kind of topic to pick first. And at some point, this topic, this name just came to me. So it was like receiving it. And there is an interesting story behind it. Because usually what do we see when we say, okay, what do we understand when we say irresistible, right? Especially if it's about a woman. We feel that it's about a woman attracting men, being sexy, charming, magnetic, attractive, right? This is what we usually perceive when we hear irresistible. Now, I would like to turn it around. And I would like to invite you to see it from a different side, from inside. So what if it's being irresistible for yourself, for your own inner mystery? It's about our internal resistance to discover and experience our own magnificence. It's about your inner journey, a journey of self-discovery, self-exploration, to discover your own mystery, which is pretty much infinite. Your own mystery is infinite. With its own planets and stars and galaxy, it's all inside of you. So irresistible, it's dropping that resistance that you might have to discover that place, your own inner mystery, you know, your feminine mystery maybe, and enjoy this journey and really be excited about it. So that's kind of a play of the words, and this is why it felt so right to use this particular name. And another piece that I put in the name of this video today is a point of no return. And I will talk more about it, and it sounds a bit intriguing. So what's that about, right? How it is connected with being irresistible. So we'll cover that as well. So maybe you noticed, I'm sure you did, that these days everybody speaks about self-love and knowing the self, right? Especially self-love. It's huge. In feminine circles, communities, it's like topic number one. And there are reasons for that. What do you think is going on? What do you feel is changing in the world right now? It has never been before like that. This is the first time in human history that this process is activated. So all these mysteries that secret societies have been keeping kind of separately from mainstream culture, all the ancient teachings that were available but not so transparent before to everybody, now all this knowledge is available for everybody who is willing to explore it. And I can explain why. Why is it happening that way? The problem is that at the time, before this historical time, the humanity, the people, the mainstream culture was not ready to experience this knowledge, to accept it and to learn from it. Why? Because this knowledge is not on the theoretical level. This is not something you can just read in the book and learn with your mind. This knowledge is energetic. This knowledge is coming to us through our own personal experience, through all our senses, through our intuition, through our own connection to the divine, to the source, right? And because the social environment was not right, there was so much fear, so many values, so many beliefs are fear-based. There's so much control and manipulation and limitation. So the mainstream culture were not able to absorb this knowledge and, and share it with everybody. So that's why it was not available, not because, a certain individual didn't have access to it. The access was always open. It was more about being ready to experience it. But now it's changing, and most of us who are open in our heart and our mind, we're all experiencing it it's on the energetic level. We feel something is changing. Things are not working the same way as they used to work. And another thing you can see in the world is a huge wave of feminine movement. The movement about femininity, the feminine energy, feminine empowerment. The goddess, the great mother, the return of the great mother. And that is something also very, very new. It has never happened before. But we've been craving this for so long, because in the nature, both energies are equally balanced, the masculine and feminine. And in our civilization, we derailed from that, and we were so unbalanced towards the masculine structures. So now it's coming back, and it totally makes sense in terms of timing. Because if we look back a few decades ago, there was a feminism movement in the time of our parents. And that was beautiful and appropriate and powerful at the time. It was a great, great breakthrough. That has never happened before as well, but it's a different level. So what is the difference between the feminine movement today and feminine movement during the feminism when activated? The feminism was a response to the thousands and thousands of years of oppression of the feminine, abuse, control, and manipulation. Historically, we all agree that if we look back, feminine was kind of secondary behind the masculine. It was oppressed, it was controlled, we didn't have rights as a man did, right? So that was, at some point, it just accumulated, so it was like last drop, and it was like explosion. Okay, we can't take it anymore. So women wanted their rights back, they wanted their freedom, they wanted their power, and they got it. They got it equality, they got rights, and what happened, so that's the difference between what's going on today. What happened at that time, the feminine didn't change, that movement didn't change the old patriarchal system, that structure, right? The masculine, it's like deeply, the foundation was rigidly masculine. There was nothing feminine about it. And we still kind of live in the same container. Now it's breaking, cracking everywhere, and that's it. So what happened during the feminism time, women have adapted to that old patriarchal structure. They didn't change it. They just adapted and become as good, as powerful as men in all areas, right? What was validated by the system. Mostly it's intellectual, and physical strength. So women could do everything that men did. And that was a huge breakthrough for that time. So the feminism was like aggressive, rough, rebellious. And if I was living that time, I would be part of it, because that was pioneering, right? That was what was possible at that time. Now it's very different, because now we're bringing the change to the system itself. We're bringing the missing link, the missing piece back, and that is the feminine. So the structure, the masculine structures were dominating and like kind of oppressing the feminine aspect. Now we're bringing it back. So we're bringing balance back. So that is the difference. And the whole structure will change from this point. So it's evolution of the human, social structures, society, civilization, consciousness, right? And this is when a feminine plays the main role, because this is what was missing, and that's why women become so empowered, because we're naturally, organically carrying that piece forward. We're recognizing it inside ourselves, and then we're bringing it forward into the world. So this is what's happening, and then when I speak about this, it gives me literally goosebumps, because this is so exciting. And even if you see lots of turbulence, lots of resistance, lots of different violent acts around you, this is just the collapse of the old system, agony, because it resists to die and change. Another aspect here is that when you feel it in your own personal journey, when you feel it inside your own body, with your heart, with your senses, right? It might feel very intense, and it might feel scary and overwhelming. And that is totally understandable. And you might find yourself in the place on your own individual journey as a woman, that the old ways of how you lived your life, maybe the whole container that you created for yourself to live life in this society, is falling apart. And you might start panicking of what's going on and what to do with this. But this is totally appropriate for this historical time. And it's not just you who is experiencing that. Many thousands and maybe millions of women are experiencing that. And that's actually a positive change. But it feels scary because our familiar world is falling apart. Everything we knew, everything we believed, on the human level, is falling apart. Our beliefs and values. Value is a big part of our life, right? It's like we start to identify ourselves with them. But they're also falling apart. And that feels scary and overwhelming. And that's why, here's the connecting the points for you. And that's why your first response to this situation can be resistance. It's like a defense mechanism. You want to protect what you have been creating for so long. You created your social mask, you created your image, you created your maybe business, you created your family, relationship, and it works. It was not maybe satisfying, it was not exciting enough for you, but you believe that this is all is possible in this reality. And now it's falling apart because new possibilities arise, but you don't know exactly what it is. So that feels scary. So the first reaction is to resist. So this is how I connect the points for you. So irresistible. When you become irresistible, you stop resisting your own transformation, your own discovery of your own magnificence, right? But the price you pay is letting go of old beliefs, letting go of old values. And maybe some of the structures that you created in your life are going to fall apart. So you're going to think differently, feel differently, and act differently, and also relate differently in the world. So let me share a few points with you. Yes, and here's the point of no return is coming in here. So I would like you to know that we have already crossed the point of no return, or we're at the point of no return right now. Because this transformation is global. This change is global. It has never happened before in the human history. It feels really exciting. It feels a bit scary. It's imminent. It's permanent. It's not gonna, things not gonna go back, right? And in your individual journey, you also at the point of no return. You can't go back. So the more you resist, the more pain you will experience, because your pain is coming from your resistance. To hold on to old values, to hold on to old structures, old way of relating, no. If you drop that resistance, you will actually accelerate your evolution and transformation, and you will actually enjoy it. So the more you resist, the less you will enjoy. Let me also pinpoint for you what is this transformation about? This transformation that brings you your authentic power and puts you on the path of spiritual luxury. So this transformation is about remembrance. It's about, it feels new because it was missing for thousands and thousands of years. This piece was missing. So that feels very new and refreshing, but it's actually very old and ancient. It's remembrance of who you really are, and we talk about it so much these days, what it means, right? This remembering who you are as a soul on a spiritual level and how you embody that in this physical body, right? So it's about remembrance of your true origins, and that is about your direct connection with the divine, with the source, with the great mystery of life. How you connect your own mystery that you really enjoy discovering inside yourself, how you connect it to the great mystery of life, your own connection with the God, with the source, with the universe. This transformation activates your intuition in its full potential, and you will know exactly what your truth is. You will not need to ask anybody anymore, and you will not have doubts anymore. You will embrace and unapologetically accept your feminine power as equal as to masculine power, right? So for so many thousands of years, we've been neglecting the value of the feminine power. It was kind of secondary, not so important. Now we're bringing it back, and we're putting it back together. And it's as valid as the masculine power. And it has even more value right now because it has been missing for so long. So it feels even more powerful. Now, you will be the change in the world who will bring the balance back. It starts, of course, within yourself. It activates on your individual level first. But then you will radiate it in the world, even without any efforts, without even like strong intention. It will be radiated into the world, and you will start transforming the world. So eventually, you will bring that missing piece back of the feminine inter-social structures as well. And a very important piece, you will be able to help men to connect with their own feminine aspect of themselves, because in the nature everything is perfectly balanced with masculine and feminine, and it always moves towards balance, the flow of energy, right? So because we already, that's why it's so important, the role of the woman, of the modern woman is so important, because she is the one who's bringing the change, because we're organically women, we're organically, having that piece already. So we'll be the door, we'll open the door for other women maybe who follow us, and for men as well, to bring that piece back and validate it, and help also men to bring that back through their own individual journeys as well, right? Because we all have that intuitive feelings, emotions, flow, right? Heart, love. This is all surrender to the greater wisdom. Connection versus control, right? We're going to bring it back, and we'll be able to heal also the masculine that was not balanced. Now, your body is also changing. So this is transformation on all levels. It's holistic. It's a transformation on physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level. And then also changing your DNA, literally. They talk about it, and some people are skeptical about it, but think about it. This body is created with certain potential. And even scientists are talking that we only use like 5% of our brain, but also use 5% of our potential of our body, right? This body is created to grow spiritually. So it is already created with the potential to hold divine wisdom, divine energy. So we can actually embody the goddess. And this is all about, this is kind of sounds archetypal, but it's also literal. It's changing our DNA. Our physical body will be able to ascend to whole divine consciousness. And this is where a modern woman is going to activate this process. She has already activated that. So this is how big it is. And another piece that I want to mention today, that this process and this feminine empowerment and your own individual journey, this transformation will also transform human relationship at all levels. It will transform your relationship with your partner, with your man. It will transform your relationship with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, and eventually it will transform all human relationships and will not be able to relate to each other the way we used to. It will be completely different dimension of relating. And this is so exciting because we intuitively, we're already rejecting the old ways. We're already starting to recognize that the skin that we are peeling off is not who we are. We start, because those beliefs and values were sticking so tight to our skin, so it was scary and painful to peel that skin off and say, that is not me, you know, that is not me. But once you start that process, you start to realize that there are lots of layers that you can peel, and you actually feel better after they're gone. And that is who you are. So you're peeling off all these layers and finding that core of your authentic self. This is what all this is about, right? So you will change the way you relate to others without that skin, and that will feel like never felt before. For now, many of us, we can't even imagine what it is. So it might feel scary because we're stepping into unknown territory. But at the same time, it's so exciting, you know. If you're like adventurous, you explorer, you can be so excited about it. And eventually we will transform the whole system and there will be a new order of things. So this is how far we all go. And this is how far you will go on your transformation. And if you're watching this video, you have already on the way. And you're already at the point of no return. So if you stop resisting the change, if you stop resisting this process, and let those values, those beliefs to drop, to be peeled off, not being afraid of that process, and just trusting in the process, you actually enjoy it so much. And you will see, you will accelerate your evolution, and you'll see how much more will open up for you. And this is just the beginning. This is kind of global, big, huge scale of vision, but I wanted to start from this video. I wanted to start with this message so you see the potential, so you see the scale of this transformational process that embraces our planet right now. And you're part of it. And you're the one who, it always starts from an individual, right? So see what is the difference between the revolutions that happened before, when people felt something is off and they were trying to rebel and destroy and build something new. But this is not about that. It doesn't start on the collective level. It starts within and then being radiated into the outside world. This is the only way to change anything outside in the collective as well. So this is all I wanted to share with you today, and I invite you to be irresistible. I invite you to drop the resistance to your own magnificence and enjoy this adventure. Now, if you feel that you're struggling and you're isolated, so this is not the time to be isolated anymore. It's not just you who is experiencing all these things. I hear it so many times from so many women, right? So you have to become aware that it's not just you, everybody else is going through the same process. So it's time to be together, it's time to create communities, it's time to receive support if necessary. So if you feel you need support, you need guidance, you need help, you can always find it, right? If you'd like to talk to me, you can book a free discovery call or kind of private call with me. We'll talk about it, what can be done so you can actually enjoy this process, embrace this process, find this, you know, magnificence within yourself, and also transform your relationship this way. So don't be shy to reach out. We'll talk about it. This is all I wanted to share for today. And I'm so looking forward to the next one. And I also would like to hear your feedback, to hear your own story. What is going on in your life? What is going on inside of you? How you feel about this process that I have described? And what are your challenges? What are your fears? This is time to be vulnerable and authentic. It's time to share the way it is. And when you speak about fear, when you become aware of it, or your resistance, this is the best way to release it. So I'm looking forward to the next Friday, and please reach out. I'd like to hear from you. Let's create the movement, let's create a community and support each other in on this journey. And I wish you a great weekend, and I talk to you next week. Bye-bye.